We've all heard of out-of-this-world MCs making the Magical Academy their playground, but when it comes to over-the-top action scenes and epic storylines, a few stand above the rest. Join us as we dive deep into this world of badass MCs absolutely slaying every heart with their cheerful yet overpowered antics. Number 7. Chivalry of a Failed Knight. To kick this off, we have a fairly young man, Iki Kuragane, from the Chivalry of a Failed Knight. His personality is nothing short of the visual representation of being charismatic and caring without even trying. He's also seen on multiple occasions to be desperately trying to help others, but as expected, there's always a catch. You see, despite being a noble, our protagonist is known by the title of the Worst One. Being born in a world where magic is might, Iki wasn't blessed with the ability to make use of it, granting him a rank as low as F. And that is why he continues to study at the Hagun Academy, just for the sake of finally gaining the recognition of his family. Chivalry of a Failed Knight is no stranger to action, showing a beautifully orchestrated exchange of blows between every character. Now, you might be wondering, what makes this loser show a part of the list? Pay close notice, because Iki's sword skills are not to be messed with, given that he ends up beating one of the strongest A-rank blazers, Stellar Vermilion, at the get-go. Now, what are blazers? Simply put, they are individuals who can manifest a weapon by manipulating their souls. Only a few are capable of such a feat, and they train to become mage knights. Number 6. The Strongest Sage with the Weakest Crest. Who said obsession with power comes at a cost? Matthias here is the reincarnation of the sage from 5,000 years ago, known as Gaius. Despite his aged mental stature, he does not shy away from showing very teenage-like emotions. Falling for a blonde on sight is just one of the many things we see from him. Now, it may come as a surprise, but back in his era, Matthias existed in an entirely different plane when compared to his peers. In a world where crest dictated one's ability, he had reached a point where he could kill off beasts as ferocious as demons with a single attack. However, even with this overwhelming might, his thirst for power did not quench. It was stated that he only reincarnated to acquire the one crest he always wanted, that was the 4th crest. Even though this legendary crest was disregarded as something that's utterly useless in the modern world, our protagonist recognized its worth and proclaimed that it'll be his key to reaching untold heights. Despite being ridiculed by others for his crest, Matthias never failed to prove them wrong. To learn more about the world he's in now, our main character went ahead to apply for the 2nd Academy. And as expected, this absolute menace of a man cleared each and every test effortlessly, and that too with such ease that the headmaster had to call him for an audience. Number 5. Wise Man's Grandchild. If creativity was a person, Shin Wolford would be the only one fit to represent it. He's someone who went from being your moderate Japanese salaryman to a definite overlord in another world. Being the embodiment of absolute confidence in one's innate ability, upon his reincarnation alone, he was shown to be in a completely different realm once compared with your average mage. Furthermore, being blessed with the ability to retain the memories of his past life is what led him to intertwine the concept of science into magic. The result of these two concepts merging together ended up creating a monster that we know as Shin Wolford. And if that wasn't all, leave it to our favorite MC to surprise us by also being the adoptive child of the greatest heroes in history. That must be all there is to the character, right? But the answer is no. Our protagonist was invited by none other than the King of Earlshide Kingdom to join the infamous Advanced Magic Academy. And that's exactly where Shin persists in making a mockery out of everyone as he severely overwhelms all the mages with little to no effort. And does he not miss capturing the heart of the daughter of the House of Claude, Cicely von Claude? With his immense magical prowess to control, Shin's journey only gets more and more magical as we witness him display more of what he has to offer every episode. Number 4. Spirit Chronicles. There's no way you could possibly overlook Ryo Karasuki when talking about abnormally overpowered MCs, because if you thought Shin was a badass, Ryo takes the term to a whole new level once you combine it with his compassionate demeanor. After being killed in a car accident, our protagonist is reincarnated as a poor orphan, and just when he thought his fate was set in stone, a mysterious spirit appears giving him the knowledge needed to activate his magic. After saving the recently abducted princess of the Bertram Kingdom, Ryo was blessed with the opportunity to attend the Bertram Royal Academy. This paved a path that gave birth to an all-new chapter in his life, or so he thought, because being what the students considered a dirty rat is what made him the prime target of the nobles' ridicule. But Ryo never let that get in between his goal, as he never failed to amaze everyone through his overwhelming adaptability and skill. What, you don't believe me? An example of this is shown when my man word for word wipes the floor with someone who's twice his age during the Inter-Academy exhibition matches, proving to have shown tremendous progress despite his low status. Retaining the knowledge he had prior to his new life, Ryo's battle IQ had always been through the roof at birth, given that even as a child, he's always seen to be a few steps ahead of his enemy. In the end, allow me to assure you that Spirit Chronicles offers what we anime fans desperately look for in a story, and that is character development. Number 3. Mashal, Magic and Muscles.
男って本当にちょろ。え？僕は。
The entire series is shown to revolve around the character, Mash Bernadette, and his overwhelming physical strength. In a world where face marks determine one's aptitude for magic, our MC isn't the luckiest bee of the hive. While being blessed with strength that far surpasses that of mankind, he has no magical abilities whatsoever. However, Mash isn't one to give in to despair. This is proven by how he doesn't let this fact bother him and continues to live a quiet life with his adoptive father, free of worldly problems. However, that does not last long, given that Mash is soon confronted by a police officer who forces him to attend the Eastern Magic Academy. Knowing that if he resists, the situation would only become dire, Mash proceeds to accept the alternative and continues to step into a life very different from the one he knew. Our protagonist is the perfect example of being kind, but ferocious, seeing how he gets upset when his family is put in danger. Now, his kind persona isn't the only thing that Mashal offers, because the animation is unlike anything we've seen from something that's generally considered to be comedic. It's truly the perfect example of a show incorporating comedy and fantasy while not making it feel like an ass pull all at the same time. Number 2. Reincarnation of the strongest exorcist in another world. Now comes a dark story of the strongest exorcist, Hariyoshi Kugano. Although he was the strongest of his time, it did not shield him from the dread of jealousy from others. In his previous life, he was regarded as the strongest exorcist with any monstrous beast in his control, but unlike Seiichi, this one didn't have the best comrades and was in fact betrayed by them, which led to his reincarnation in another world. Hariyoshi was born a noble and was given the name Seika Lamperouge as the third son of the Lamperouge family. However, it was soon discovered that Seika had no affinity for magic. This ended up making him a target for the hatred of his brother and also left his father with a sense of dissatisfaction. But what about Seika? Was he met with the same disappointment? The answer is no. None of this bothered him, as he could still sense great spiritual prowess from his new body. Over time, Seika manages to surprise everyone with his laying ability and talent, granting our MC the opportunity to learn about magic from the notorious Royal Academy. But if there's one thing this anime has in common with the last, is the MC's obsession with carrying a harem. This is proven when Seika manages to get a maid and one of his loyal servants, Yuki, to tag along all the way to the prestigious academy. Despite all the side eyes he gets for having no affinity for magic, Seika proves himself to always be able to keep his cool while showing complete dominance in battle. And of course, with the plot armor he has, it takes zero effort for him to clear the needed test for the Royal Academy. So, if you enjoy watching isekai with a little twist every now and then Seika is the perfect exorcist to exercise your boredom. Number 1. The Misfit of the Demon King Academy. Given the title of Demon King, our main character, Anos Voldigold, was so insanely powerful that no one was able to take his throne for generations, and that stood to be true even after his demise. After striking a deal with the hero of his time, the great demon lord had himself killed just so he could reincarnate into a world that knows peace. A world where demons and humans could coexist without having to go at each other's throats. Fast forward to 2,000 years later, Anos was reincarnated in the house of two ordinary demons who were stunned at the idea of a baby being capable of speech at birth. His character is shown over and over again to be based on the principles of might and wisdom. This is primarily because no matter what you do, it's impossible to budge this guy. Being reborn as a commoner, Anos was hated at the Demon King Academy, and to his surprise, no one recognized who he truly was, not even his own subordinates. However, it doesn't take long for our protagonist to figure out that history had been tampered with. And just like that, Anos continues his adventure where he's joined by others, and together, they yearn to revive what had been lost during the ages. All in all, if you like seeing the perspective of what the norms consider to be evil, The Misfit of the Demon King Academy is the way to go.